right, today we are working on the shape project. For this project, you'll need a cup of water, a brush, some tape, watercolor, and some drawing utensils. It can be really handy to use colored pencils, oil pastels, or pencils. To start, I usually use 3 to 7 strips of tape and just put them across the paper in a way that feels right. Trying to let them overlap and make some shapes. Once you've applied the tape, you'll pick your drawing utensil, either the colored pencil, colored pencil, oil pastel, or pencil. And then you'll go in and begin to draw lines, making patterns. So making the same lines over and over can be a very exciting way to work in this medium. Even picking a few colors for your box. And then maybe adding some areas with oil pastel. And knowing that these areas reject the water, because oil and water don't mix, so it can be really fun to work in this way. I'm going to pick a couple more colors with oil pastel. I picked a yellow just to see what happens when I put more color over top. And I hope when you're working in this way, you take a little more time to develop some shapes and lines. When I did my finished example, it took me a good hour, if not longer, to just make my design. And you'll see I'm putting one color on, and then I'm choosing another one to put in the middle in one direction. And then inside of that, I maybe will choose to put another pattern in it. So it's just doing basic lines, and then in different directions can make really beautiful images. And they have depth when you work with many layers, shifting direction. And maybe I'll choose to leave this area open and just put watercolor in it, because you want to make sure you leave some areas a little bit white so that you have space for your watercolor when the time comes. You'll see I'm putting a few lines here too. So this is a sort of project you can work in a very stable way too, in picking up your ruler, drawing beautiful straight lines, or you can move your hand and flow a little more freely. I think for the sake of today, I'm going to call this part done. Once you've finished your base drawing, you'll get your watercolors, a cup of water, and your brush. And you'll take and just move your brush around a little bit to dampen your brush, and then you'll find the color of your choice and just spin your brush around in the paint. That helps to pick up the pigment and the color. If you don't take that time, it might be very light, which some people prefer. And then you'll take it and put it on your paper, noticing what happens when it touches the oil pastel. And as you work, you may choose to only put one color in the box, or you maybe want to mix it up and add multiple colors in one box. Maybe in the pattern, I just want to leave the area of white that is in between the red lines colored with one color, and choose a different color for the other areas. You'll keep working in this manner, being sure if you switch colors that you take the time to clean your brush out in the water so you don't mix up the paint too much, because that can make the colors what they call muddy, so very brown if you don't take that time. And so I hope you got the idea of what this looks like to work in this way, and you just keep working until you finish and come with a complete image like this. As you see in my finished example, I pulled the tape up already, but you'll see prior to that, the tape was here, and where the tape was when I pulled it up once the watercolor dried. That's really important. You want your watercolor to dry. I pulled the tape up after the watercolor fully dried, and you'll see that it left those areas completely white. So that's a really important thing to think about when you're laying your tape down, because you can make beautiful shapes, as you see here, just by the tape alone, and you'll notice there's a lot of different areas for your eye to move through this piece as well. So I hope you enjoyed this project and found some fun working in this way.